Hello, my astrology friends. This is Lada from AstroladaOfficial, and today we're going back to basics. We're talking sun signs, but sun signs from a different perspective. Sun signs is the foundation of astrology. Everyone knows their sun sign. When you ask someone, "What's your sun sign?" they'll tell you that's the month they were born, where the sun was, in which tropical sign. But one of the first things I learned from one of my first teachers of astrology, Frank Clifford, in the faraway 2003, when I was taking my first astrology lessons, was he said, you'd notice how sometimes people manifest not their sun sign, but the sign opposite their sun, especially if they haven't fully embodied their sun sign. And I started paying attention to that, and I was amazed. And I've noticed that especially till the 30th year and later on in life as well, you'll see that people would switch from their sun sign and manifest the sign opposite their sun sign. And back then my teacher said it's like when you don't fully manifest the qualities of your sun, which is your deep eye, which is your deep free will, you often project the qualities, but the negative qualities of the opposite sign. Not the positive, but the negative qualities. And the more I thought about it and observed people, the more I saw it. So a lot of you have seen someone who is a water sign, for example, Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, which is supposed to be emotionally in touch, but they're the opposite. They are kind of very materialistic, very regimented, structured, organized with their life, which is more like earth signs. You've probably seen fire signs like Aries, Leo, or Sagittarius that care too much what others think about them. Or the opposite, air signs, which are Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius, that are actually too feisty, telling you what to do, too fiery and impulsive. We'll speak about how each of the signs, sun signs, can project the negative qualities of the opposite sign a little bit in depth. But when I started watching that, I really noticed it. And I realized consequently, especially after learning human design as well, that human design is also astrologically based system, which is newer, but it always looks at the earth sign. And in astrology, we've never looked at the earth sign. And the earth sign, the sign that the earth falls in at the moment when you're born, is always the opposite sign of your sun sign. And that's why you'll notice often someone who is Pisces, supposed to be romantic, creative, but they're like OCD, cleaning, organizing. We'll pass through each of the 12 signs to mention quickly what I've noticed, and maybe you can fill us in as well, how you notice yourself or others close to you only about their sun sign. Don't look at moon or whatever, only about their sun sign, how sometimes they can switch into the mode of the opposite sign. And let's talk a little bit. For example, ever since I was young, people would say, oh, and I'm an Aries, oh, you must be Libra, you're so sweet, you're so kind, basically you're such a pleaser. That was one of my biggest things. And usually the sun matures around the 30th year. After 29, 30, you can start embodying your sun qualities more and more, especially from 30 to 50. But after 30, definitely your solar qualities start to shine on more, because actually till the age of 30 approximately, we're more under the influence of karma, of karmic influences. Just because we're born into a family, we have no free will over it. As a consequence of past lives, we have certain qualities and characteristics we inherit from family and so on. We're much more indoctrinated by the environment till then. Our free will is not as unfolded till the age of 30. No matter how much teenagers want to think they're fully operating under their free will, there is a lot of influences from the past or from the environment that they manifest. That's why the solar qualities of the fully embodied I, when you're free to choose independently of other sources, only starts coming into full force after the 30th year. And I definitely started seeing my Aries qualities shine much more after my 30th year. When I started my business, Aries is supposed to be initiative, to do new things, to innovate fields, to be a boss, to be a leader. And slowly after my 30th year, I stopped being just like everyone, oh, Libra, pleasing everyone. I still, when you feel when you feel overwhelmed by circumstances, often again person will project to the opposite sign. I'm not often going to my pleasing Libra side, earth sign, into my earth sign basically. And again, usually always the lower qualities, because the earth sign is heavier energies, the sign opposite the sun. While the sun is the highest vibration in our solar system. It gives the life, the light. And it's interesting that actually ancient astrology never even considered the sun sign. For example, Vedic astrology, which was created 5,000 years ago or more, the sun sign is not mentioned. Your personality is just your ascendant, your moon sign. Because, interestingly enough, free will, which is what the sun is, was not part of humans. Didn't have as much free will back then. Consciousness was very different 2,000-3,000 years ago of what it is now. And astrology reflected it, because human beings, they didn't have free will. You're born in a family of smiths or bakers, you become a smith or baker. You cannot change. You cannot, with your will, you're born a aristocrat, or in a different, in a caste of lower caste, you cannot go to a higher caste. That was it. It's deterministic back then, and it was. Humans didn't have much free will, much less than now. But something miraculous happened around 2,000 years ago. That was the incarnation of the solar logos Christ, which filled up the aura of the earth. That was the aura of the sun, of the solar logos, came and merged with the earth at the mystery of Golgotha. When people say it's just a legend, it's not. It was an actual event. And it was, the purpose of it is that people can individuate more. That solar logos of free will merge with the earth aura, and gradually over millenniums, over the thousands of years, little by little, with each new incarnations, you incorporate more of this Christ impulse, this solar impulse in you, which is you have more and more free will. Since 2,000 years ago. And you notice now, Western astrology has noticed that the sun sign, when Western astrology was revived at the beginning of the 20th century, and the sun sign became 90% of the astrology. It wasn't so 2,000 years ago, but now people really identify with their sun sign. But especially after the 30th year, they can incorporate and embody those solar qualities much more powerfully. But let's look through a few of all the signs. For example, have you seen Aries? That, especially if you are not engaging that free will, if you have not started on the path of self-fulfillment and freedom, and unfolding your true potentials, you would manifest the earth sign, the opposite sign. So an Aries who is a pleaser, an Aries who is a follower, for example, an Aries who is finds it very hard to make decisions at moments. Especially when a person feels, they regress to their earth sign, the opposite one, when they feel pressed by circumstances, scared, when they feel, when their confidence is low and so on, or lost on their path in life. Or Aries who is passive aggressive, or Aries who is, who can't make up their mind fast. So definitely all of those things I often revert to. Or who procrastinate, or cares too much what others think. Or have you seen a Libra, the opposite? Instead of being this really voice of reason, and instead of that being quite aggressive or impulsive or bossy, trying to boss everyone around. Maybe a lot of you have seen a Libra that manifests those opposite qualities of Aries, but the negative qualities of Aries at times. Or let's see, Taurus. Have you seen a Taurus who is too controlling, that manifests the negative qualities of Scorpio, who is too jealous? I've often seen such Tauruses. And we're talking only about sun sign. Or Tauruses that have a lot of drama in their life, psychological, emotional turmoil, drama, ups and downs, while Taurus's true core is supposed to embody peace, calm in all circumstances, like the bull, or Tauruses that are attracted by danger, by the dark side, that instead of doing those life-affirming Taurian things like food, nature, cooking, they go into darker, forbidden things, taboo things, for example. Again, like they project the darker side of the opposite sign. Or let's see a Scorpio. Have you seen a Scorpio who is supposed to be this deep, penetrating, insightful sign? Instead of that, they're very materialistic, very bonded, like the negative sides of Taurus, very bonded to their possessions, very bonded to care only about mundane things. What they do, what happened in their daily life, how they organize their daily life. So a lot of materialistic concerns instead. And Scorpio in a very negative way can manifest as the very dark side of Taurus, where you've seen some people with strong Scorpio who are all about money, all about controlling all resources, and so on. Then have you seen a Gemini, for example, who is very preachy, the negative sides of Sagittarius, who knows everything and tries to tell everyone what to do, preachy and bossy, which are fiery qualities, who doesn't care what others say but wants to impose their opinion on others, who is more belligerent, because that's again negative qualities of Sagittarius, the opposite sign, who are very hot-headed. Or another side of the negative qualities of Sagittarius would be absent-minded, forgetful. Wow, Gemini is supposed to be very aware of the environment around. Gemini is the sign that absorbs everything. They know, like a bee flies here, they notice in the immediate environment everything. But if they're not fully embodying their sign, they can project into the opposite sign of the sun, the earth sign, which would be Sagittarius. Absent-minded, in their head, forgetful where they leave things, all over the place, Well, Gemini is not. They're supposed to be very observant. Or Sagittarius. Let's say a Sagittarius who is not fully embodying the energy of the sun of the free will, who is not fully aware and present. What is the sun? To be fully aware. So the more conscious and aware you are, if you practice awareness and whatever, the more you embody your sun sign. That's for all sun signs. So when we're less conscious, as I said, it can happen during stressful situations or during very difficult periods in our life. We can project into the opposite sign. So Sagittarius, who is two-faced. Have you seen such? I'm sure you have. We're talking sun signs here again only. Who is two-faced, and that's not supposed to be Sagittarian. That's the negative sign of Gemini. And Gemini doesn't have moral compass. It's mentalizes everything and can explain every behavior rationally. While Sagittarius is supposed to be the sign with the biggest moral compass. And Sagittarius can, always differentiate when they're fully embodied and aware, right from wrong, the cosmic principles of good and bad. But when Sagittarius is not acting consciously from their sun sign, they'll project the opposite sign. So they might be immoral, they might be lying, two-faced, no moral compass, or they might have no goal. Because Sagittarius is the sign that has one goal, while Gemini is the negative side of Gemini is that they're like a butterfly. They jump from flower to flower. Oh, let me try this, let me try that, this, that. So you've seen some Sagittarius sun people that even in relationships can be like that. Like they cannot commit to one thing, which Sagittarius is really like choosing one path and following it to the end. They instead become like flittering around butterflies and or doing too many things at once, which is one of the strengths of Gemini, but at the same time it can be this kind of overwhelming energy of Gemini as well, instead of focusing on one goal. So these are some of the dark sides of Sagittarius who have not fully, and again, it's not approach to you if you're showing the opposite sign of your sun sign. It's that you're less developed spiritually or whatever. It's I think it's a natural progressions for most. For some, there is it just takes time and more awareness. And when circumstances allow for more free will to be expressed, some people have been suppressing their free will from very young, especially if you have hard aspects to your sun, say squares, opposition, conjunctions to your sun from the North Node, from Saturn, from Pluto, such kind of blocking influences. It might be very hard for the sun to express itself, or even Venus, conjunctions with Venus of the sun can really diffuse the qualities of the sun as well. Anyway, so what about cancers? Let's see, cancers. Have you seen cancers that are very controlling? Cancer certain people that manifest the negative behaviors of Capricorn. Very controlling, micromanaging everything, or judgmental. Like they see only the worst, like you're not doing this right. Every time you do something wrong, they're on top of you. I've quite a few Cancer sun people in my life, and sometimes I've noticed, especially when we were younger, they would be like always finding fault with others and what's wrong with others. Or they can be quite authoritarian sometimes, which is very Capricornian thing, like this kind of bossy overseer of everything. Or sometimes they can disconnect. They can be Cancerians who for them is too important status, which is Capricornian thing. Status, achievements, and so on. It's nothing bad with that. It doesn't mean if you're Cancer you can have a career and status. But when you're overly preoccupied with the external material reality and controlling it and arranging your reality too much, you're disconnecting from your solar qualities that are the most creative part of you, which are sensitive, in touch, emotional with the needs of others, and being kind of compassionate, putting yourself, realizing what the needs of another person is rather than criticizing them. Just like a mother, with the good qualities of Cancer is if a mother sees a child is struggling with something, she's not going to judge it. She's going to be compassionate and understand. All right. Or have you seen the opposite? A Capricorn, for example, who is too emotionally manipulative because there is emotional uncertainness. They project the Cancer qualities of their earth sign, the opposite one, and they become emotionally kind of, sometimes the negative side of Cancer can be very kind of passive aggressive, emotionally manipulative, or another way they can be very defensive, the negative sides of Cancer. Everything feels like a personal attack to them, or overly attached, because Capricorn is supposed to have this a bit more aloof energy to it, a bit more detached on the positive side of Capricorn, this very wise approach rather than this more infantile emotional side of it. Or let's see Leos. It's hard for me. Often Leo sun people, from very young age, they project their sun qualities. You'd see a Leo sun child from little already, their sun shines because the sun is super strong in Leo. But occasionally I grew up with two Leo sun people, and I would see occasionally how they project the Aquarius side. And they can become, because Leo is supposed to be this warm-hearted, this very affectionate sign, but they can become cold-hearted, or they can't find their passion. That's another way. If you see a Leo sun person who is disconnected from their passion of life, lust for life, they fully embody the love of life, the joy of life. And if you see someone who is disconnected from joy, from love, from this childlike fervor and exuberance, this is a blocked Leo sun, often projecting the coldness of the Aquarius energy, the aloofness, the Aquarius energy. Or a Leo who is very average or unnoticeable, and it's kind of, it doesn't mean all Leo should be superstars or whatever, but they can be a superstar in their own home, somehow, like they would attract attention if the sun is expressing well. Otherwise, if the sun is projecting into the earth sign Aquarius, they can be more noticeable, no life within, kind of like the ice queen type of, or they might be conforming to the crowd, a bit like sheeple, going with what others want, which is Aquarius, negative Aquarius qualities. The consensus is important. Or Leos, like my parents, what will people say? No. It's like the Leo shouldn't care what people say. It doesn't mean be horrible to your neighbors or around, or don't care what others do. But when you're overly concerned as a fire sign or Leo, what the population will say, what do others say, then you're not embodying fully your Leo sun qualities. Your free will is not fully unfolded. Um, Okay, what or Leos that over mentalize things rather than fill them with their heart, cares too much what others things and so on. Or let's see, Aquarians. Have you seen some Aquarians that are not fully embodying their sign, and they embody the negative qualities of Leo, which is like becoming very authoritarian, bossy, trying to tell others what to do, or trying to kind of take up all the attention, which is not usually what Aquarius is. Its natural qualities. It tries to give space to others, to incorporate others and give limelight to others, and to allow others' qualities to shine through as well. Who is not collaborative. Aquarius is a sign of big groups and getting along with others. If they hog up the negative qualities of Aquarius, of Leo, the opposite, they would become very like, I'm the boss, you do what you want, or you peasants, you're all below me. I've seen some Aquarius that really, that manifest the negative qualities project into Leo, that they think everyone is below them. That's negative Leo. Leo is the king, and they think they're way smarter than everyone, way better than everyone, and everyone else is peasants below them or something like that. Or Leo or Aquarians, Aquarian sun people that think that the world rotates around them. You know what Leo is supposed to do, to have everyone rotate on their little finger. So if you notice yourself, and I'm sure a lot of you will know, oh, what about Virgo? A Virgo that is messy, a Virgo that is an emotional mess, a Virgo that is, of course you're allowed, if you're a Virgo, to have emotional moments and so on, but if you're always lost in your internal worlds, and your external world is not organized, is not systemized, is not planned, if you're never with a plan or anything like that, then your Virgo side is suffering. Your free will, you're detaching yourself more and more from your full potential and your free will. Or have you seen a Pisces? I know two Pisces in my family. My older brother, half brother, and his mom, they're both Pisces. But because they're not fully embodying their Pisces qualities, which is very artistic, which is soulful, spiritual, you can see them projecting the opposite qualities. OCD cleaning. Every object has to be at its place. Like, I'm afraid when I enter my brother's place, because everything needs to be, like, careful, don't make a mess. Everything needs to be clean. Objects are so important, over this external material things, they overemphasize them. But I saw a miracle as well when my brother discovered his Piscean, let's say, because the sun often shows vocation or activities you need to be actively engaged with to fully embody the energy of the sun sign. So my brother, after some kind of very spiritual and scary experience, suddenly got awoken to his qualities, and he started doing very Piscean things, which was like graphic design, video editing, music editing. And his Virgo negative qualities, which he, the projection of the opposite sign from his sun sign is the earth sign, they diminish. He stopped being so caring about material thing, about order and cleanliness. So the more you start embodying your sun sign, which you're supposed to experience in this lifetime, those qualities, but the positive qualities of your sun sign, because there are negative qualities of the sun sign as well, of course, the more you start embodying them, live them, even if you can't do such a profession, if you are every day you engage in such activities, then you notice that you less and less, you have more free will in your life, which means you can direct your life according to your own desire, which is great, isn't it, rather than where fate takes you. And you notice that you become more creative, more joyful, more strong vitally, more healthy, more fulfilled, and you don't have to compensate by projecting into the opposite sign. So like, just like I'm becoming less people pleaser, I know when to say no. And and I know how to. And of course, some of you might have also planets in the opposite sign from your sun, but use those planets to manifest the positive qualities of the opposite sign. So this is one very simple astrological technique that everyone can apply and see how you are on the path of fully embodying your free will, your sun sign, and your destiny, and how disconnected you are from that as well. Are you really projecting some of the opposite qualities? And please do tell me stories below, others can read, because I don't have many observations of many people sun sign. You have to really know someone to observe those things. Observe it, and tell me about people in your life below in comments who are projecting their sign, or maybe you yourself who are projecting the opposite sign, and what qualities are they actually projecting of the opposite sign, and maybe stories how this stopped happening. Or did you embody your sun sign more and did it stop happening? And by the way, this is just one very simple technique that I teach in multiple courses. And now this summer I'm doing Lada's Astrolada's top pick. So I'm doing a bundle of a few of my courses just for the next 2 weeks. Anyone who wants to learn astrology with me, you receive them at a very big discount. I think it's 30% or something like that. I'm not sure how the administrators made it, 30 or 40. And you get one of my best foundational courses as a bundle. And then once per month till October, we have a live session. And I already did one live session with the previous group. And I do readings for you and I answer your questions. So if you want to be, it's closest you get to a reading with me personally if you are part of this Astrolada's top picks. So check out the new package we're offering on personal courses with me that I've already done, but I answer your questions after that on your charts or whatever that are relevant to the material, which is foundational astrology for beginners. If you want to learn astrology with me, with a lot of not just astrology, psychology, esoteric, and so on, join this opportunity. Thank you so much.